Who you getting fired today, Brandon? I mean, who you putting on the hot seat today? Which coach?
You know, that's...
Oh, seriously, which coach are you putting on the hot seat?
I might put a lot of coaches on the hot seat.
All you want to do is fire coaches.
I got you on the hot seat right now.
Mississippi
they ain't firing
State
me.
would have won the game if you didn't.
No, they wouldn't have.
Yeah, they would have.
They wouldn't have.
Yeah, they would have. You're a front runner, and you went down there and lost the game.
You get all sassy because I say coaches should do a better job.
I want you fired.
I'm not getting fired.
I'm going to talk to Portnoy, get you run out of here.
Getting me fired from here.
Yeah, you lost the game for Mississippi State.
They lost to Tennessee.
We got to call it like it is.
They lost to Tennessee in heartbreaking fashion. I wasn't there. They lost to Florida in heartbreaking fashion. I wasn't there. Just because I was there doesn't mean they lost because of me.
I mean, you go down there self-promoting yourself with all your TikToks.
Oh, I'm sorry for making content, Coach.
7-0, 10-0.
I'm sorry for making content. You're just sore at me because I say the truth and say coaches ought to be doing a better job. What I'm trying to do is get you back in the coaching game. All these jobs are going to open up, and you can go to Arkansas or Baton Rouge or whatever.
Talking about me behind my back. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't talk about you behind your back. I talk about you to the front.
Sark's over there with the Longhorns going, look at this guy. You're incensing the Longhorns. You pissed them off, and you lost the game for Mississippi State. You got to live with it.
And welcome back to Hybrid Studios and to the Coliseum. My name is Logan Hyder. I appreciate you for being here today. As always, you could be literally anywhere else, so I very, very much appreciate you for being here. I sincerely mean that. Statistically speaking, if you're watching this video, even if you watch a lot of my videos, you probably are not subscribed, so please do that if you would, or consider doing it by the end of this video. It really, really does help out the channel and what I'm trying to do here with Hybrid Studios in ways that hard to put into words whenever you really look at the full context of it. But the long and short of it is it helps the channel grow. So very, very quick side note, the channel has been performing way over my expectations, especially on the watch time. So if you are back to watch another video from having supported one of my previous ones, I cannot thank you enough for the love that you guys have shown so far, particularly here on YouTube, which is typically the hardest of the platforms to grow. But honestly, this has been the one that has really, really performed, again, not only well, but way above my expectations. The watch time in particular has been amazing. Bryan Kelly video went crazy. That's by far the most viewed YouTube video that I've ever made for myself. The channel has performed in the first 2 months better than any single month that I had on my first channel in 3.5 years. So I have trouble really expressing or really even wrapping my head around a proper way to express appreciation to you if you are back for another video and have supported me so far on the very, very first baby steps of this channel. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. But just to kind of warm up, just to kind of get the blood flowing here on this episode of the Coliseum, the 13th episode of the Coliseum, let's laugh at Carson Beck, shall we? Carson Beck is again under fire for blaming, I don't know why that's in parentheses, that's funny, the play call at the end of the game. I gotta find another page to follow. Although, I mean, shout out to this page. I've used them several times, but I don't know what the fuck that sentence is. And it was edited too, and that was your final draft. Carson Beck is again under fire for blaming the play call at the end of the game. What is that? I guess it's like a shocked emoji. Anyway, we're gonna move forward. A few weeks ago, he caught heat for blaming his tight end after an interception on a misrun route that cost him the game. We talked about that, so we can insert that clip real quick. Yet again, we have Carson Beck showing off his incredible leadership skills that I'm sure will translate to the NFL by blaming his tight end for losing the game. Which, in case it needs to be said, a quarterback should never blame anyone other than themselves. But let's see what he has to say here.
Were you not expecting that defender to be there? They're running that kind of sim pressure and they're popping out at the snap.
I mean, we have a perfect play for it. We had a miscommunication with the route and what we were doing. So, just sort of ran the route wrong, and I went to go throw it because we're hot off of a pressure. And again, he made a good play on it. So,
no, he's not done. It gets worse
because we're hot off of a pressure. And again, he made a good play on it. So. But it definitely didn't help that we ran the wrong play.
Could have stopped right there. Could have just stopped right there, Carson. Could have just stopped right there. I don't know if the little handshake at the end is because he knew that he, did some idiotic shit right there, or if he's really trying to pretend like he's that upset. But to double and then triple down on it. I mean, you just didn't have to say that. Also, let's look at the play in question, shall we? Let's just, bad look, right? Probably shouldn't say that. But did the tight end cost him the game? Okay, Carson Beck. Let's see. Drops back. We got 36 seconds in the game, down by 3. Throws it damn near right to him. I could also go find the original clip where I talked about Carson Beck for the first time this year, but this has been one of many bullseyes. Let's just put it that way. But let's go ahead and see Carson Beck's work on the mic and on the field here.
I just execute the play that's called, and if I'm given that, I just execute the play that's called.
Damn, you choked up, ain't you?
And if I'm given that,
Damn, you nervous, ain't you? Let's see. This guy was the Heisman favorite like 3 weeks ago. This quote is not going to help any NFL GMs that were on the fence about considering him. In Miami's 2 losses, Beck has thrown his teammates and his coaches under the bus. While his complaints may not be off base, they are undercut a bit by the fact he ditched a championship caliber team specifically to go to Miami. I mean, they're undercut by a lot of facts, actually. They're undercut by the fact that he shouldn't be saying any of the stuff that he's saying. And he's shit. He's just not, he's not a good quarterback. And he has a terrible attitude. Like, I personally hate Georgia quarterbacks. They're absolutely unbelievable at recruiting, like the most punchable faces at the quarterback position that I've ever seen in my life. Stetson Bennett and Carson Beck are just up there with some of the most hateable players that I've ever seen in college football. But it's not for nothing. You know, he happens to look like Sid the Sloth, but it's also the picture of him smiling on the sideline when they're getting blown out that I showed in the last episode, and shit like this, which is, again, not surprising if you look back at how we characterized him earlier in the year on the Coliseum. Let's see what we got here. Dropping back in, let's see, 3rd and 6, overtime, tied with SMU, by the way. Not only was he a Heisman favorite, which is what literally spurned us talking about him to begin with, but Miami's number 2 in the country, which we're going to come back to in just a second. But overtime against SMU, 3rd and 6. Let's see if the result of this play situationally and considering who's throwing this ball reminds you of anything we've talked about so far this year. Josh back, triple pumps, which is crazy. Shows a whole lot of confidence. Drops back, look, watch, look, yeah, that is rough. Like, all, like, jokes aside, look at this. Like, I don't know where to go. And then let's look at the receiver's route and see if he ended up coming back to where he was pumping or something. Because that guy literally, I mean, he jumped that so incredibly. I mean, I was going to say he either jumped that really, really incredibly or that was a really, really bad throw. Let's see. So he pumps it to him once. Yeah. So it looks like he pumps to 10. Let's see. Well, I'm acting like I can't fucking pause it. Here we go. Ready? So he pumps, it looks like, to 10, and then looks to the left, and then pumps, like, probably over here in the middle of the end zone, maybe back of the end zone, and then comes back to 10. So I guess he pumps here to fake that, then pretends like he's coming over the middle, maybe to drop guys out of this area, and then come back over the middle to him. But unfortunately, first of all, that, again, I'm giving a lot more credit maybe to this dude because that's my explanation. I mean, that's definitely possible. That's what he was doing. Here, in fact, I'll be super, super nice. Let's say that pump fake was nasty, Carson. Very nice. Very nice. Problem is, it was so nasty that Buddy cut down on it. It's just hilarious because he pump fakes to the receiver. You know, the idea being that he would draw coverage to that guy and then goes somewhere else and then pump fakes there to draw coverage to that guy. It's like, okay, so where are you going now? Oh, you're going back to the original guy, but didn't you just pump fake and literally draw the guy close to him? Like, isn't that the idea that he would break on the pump fake? Woo-wee. Yeah. Find anybody that said that guy should be the number 1 pick in next year's draft or a high pick or, you know, anything of the sort, and take whatever credentials they have to judge football. I mean, to be fair, that's not his fault. Pop-Tart Bowl bound. That's hilarious. So yeah, Carson Beck. From one to another of my favorites. One of the reasons why we talked about Miami and Carson Beck going back to the beginning of the year. And I'm not going to talk about Vanderbilt in Texas today. I thought about it. But what this is a good opportunity to bring up is that we have an interesting thing going on right now in college football and have had this going on for 2 or 3 weeks at least now, which is that a bunch of the people, we did actually, this goddamn fan, dude, I keep forgetting to turn the fucking fan off. My PlayStation's broken, so I got a fan on it like I'm fucking... we have a bunch of teams. I mean, obviously, we're covering things that are relevant and that are big stories and that I'm seeing posts about, for example. That's why I'm saving this. But I do have to say that, like, the stuff that I choose to cover on here has been just insane in the way that it's actually kind of insane the way that the dominoes continue to fall every single week. But if we talk about somebody, if it's a coach, especially if we talk about them getting fired, they get fired. If we even mention it, I didn't even talk about James Franklin getting fired. I just said he can't win big games. He lost the next week and was fired. Obviously, the Bryan Kelly situation. There's been a lot. Nico, their whole coaching staff. I mentioned this last time. Carson Beck, obviously a big one. Florida, Billy Napier. We're going to get to another one of my takes that has become prophetic as well here in a minute. But my point in saying all that is to say that we just came from Carson Beck in Miami and their fall from grace. And my entire point in this whole soliloquy about this is to say that we have an incredible vicious cycle of bad teams that are overrated that we've called out, playing other bad teams that are overrated that we've called out. One of them has to win, and the winner then gets even more overrated. And the loser, because people think both of those teams are good, is not underrated enough. And so we're basically calling every single one of these things before it happens. You know, LSU and Clemson and Miami and Florida, these teams basically built reputations on the back of each other being terrible. So Clemson is one of those, and Dabo Swinney, another guy that I love to talk about in this context, because as successful as he is, in my opinion, he's an asshole. I think that the whole fucking shtick of like super nice guy and that kind of thing, I think it completely falls apart whenever anything is going bad. Or again, we've talked about the NIL and that kind of stuff. He don't want your ass getting paid as a player, and he is not afraid to say it. And yeah, I don't know. He just really rubs me the wrong way.
Year, and you know, lost at home here to South Carolina. Thought I was getting fired right here in this room. Actually, I walked out right there and walked around. And Kath, you know, they get fired today. Graham's sitting in the back there, so I don't know. But you know, can't say I blame him. But
dude, I swear to God, we've also talked about this. The buyouts for these coaches. When we talked about that in the episode, I said that they essentially at some point have no incentive to continue trying, and that some coaches seem like they're just completely trying to get fired almost without doing enough to have it be for cause, and then they wouldn't get their buyout, obviously. That totally seems like what he's doing at this point. This is like the third time that he's talked about getting fired this year. And now he's talking about it with apparently the decision maker in that process in the back of the room. Like, again, all this rah-rah, good old boy talk whenever he was winning national championships seems to have disintegrated. At this point, I really do just hope he does get fired, to be real. I'm just going to say it. If that's what he wants, give it to him. I mean, he clearly has no problem kicking people down and cutting bridges on his way out whenever, you know. He basically feels like the fan base has been ungrateful, which is such an annoying position for anybody in that position to take. But anyways, another interesting story that is going to lead us nicely into the big topic of today is this. Tennessee Tech is playing Kentucky. Kentucky scheduled an FCS team for their Week 12 team for their Week 12 game, and they just so happen to be one of the best FCS teams in the country. I saw this story and then clicked on it and saw that it was Tennessee Tech. I was shook. Tennessee Tech is undefeated as the highest scoring offense in the country, and it's ranked number 5. Kentucky might have or they might have set themselves up here. Let's see. Facing 10-0 team, ranked number 5. Okay, did I just not read? Okay, Kentucky's a 22.5 point favorite. Interesting. This wouldn't even crack the top 10 craziest upsets like this, literally like this, where you pay a fucking team to come in and they beat you. This wouldn't even remotely crack the top 10 or any list of biggest. I mean, it would be crazy. Don't get me wrong, but there's been a whole lot crazier things that have happened than that. But Kentucky, by the way, one of the reasons why I wouldn't be surprised is because they're not very good. And if you need evidence for that, let's go back a couple weeks to when Tennessee played them. I hadn't been able to talk about this game yet. Oh my God, watch this. This is the most Kentucky play I've ever seen. 3 Kentucky players fumbled on one play. Here's the thing though. This is not just the most Kentucky play you'll ever see. This is the most Tennessee play you'll ever see as well. If you want to know what it's like to be a Tennessee fan, it's this. Kentucky has beaten us before when they had a wide receiver at quarterback. That's not like an exaggeration or like, yeah, that's a literal fact. Kentucky one time, whenever I was growing up, Kentucky literally beat Tennessee. Not like Tennessee was supposed to go to a national championship and this happened or anything, but they beat Tennessee with a wide receiver. Not a wide receiver converted to quarterback, a wide receiver playing quarterback. I don't know if they threw it all in that game. I really don't, but we lost. So yeah, as sad as this is for Kentucky, it's just as sad for the team that is participating in it in orange and white. First of all, this started out with this bad team that everybody's saying might lose to fucking Tennessee Tech. Started out with that team basically bullying you to start the play out. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, six guys, and they got another 3 or 4 yards. Oh, then he fumbles, and we talked about the football being a bar of soap as well. Oh, got it back. Oh, and then we eventually recovered it. It's just like, oh my God, like, can we run that back one time? I keep forgetting that it's not gonna restart it when I do that. But I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, I mean, and the defense, like, I mean, credit to Tennessee for hustling a little bit. I mean, both teams, to be fair. This poor guy right here. How does one find themselves in such a position? Kentucky down 28-7 with 43 minutes remaining, 3 fumbles on 1 possession. Rocky Top chants are ringing in Kroger Field. This is the lowest point of Kentucky football since the Joker Phillips era. Yeah, I mean, again, this team is 5-2 and is a couple plays away from, SEC championship talk. And not very impressive by them either, I wouldn't say. But yeah, Kentucky sucks. And by the way, the most Kentucky thing ever is none of that. It's the fact that they're fucking their stadium, I guess. I mean, like Neyland Stadium has Philip Fulmer Field. Or what am I thinking? Neyland Stadium has Shields Watkins Field, right? The Rose Bowl is the stadium. The Shoe is the stadium. The Big House is the stadium. Alabama right now, right? It's Bryant-Denny Stadium, Nick Saban Field. The only thing you ever hear about Kentucky is Kroger Field, which is nauseating. It's like legitimately vomit-inducing. It's terrible. It's terrible. As a program, any program to be down that bad. I mean, again, I just listed out a bunch of big stadiums that don't even have naming rights in them. Could you imagine what they could sell those naming rights for Neyland or, whatever, like if it was Pilot Stadium instead of Neyland Stadium or something like that. And I hate this in general. I hate stadiums being named after businesses. I hate the patches on the NBA the NBA jerseys. I hate all of it. It does not produce very stimulating visualizations, let's say that. But again, the team on the other side, not exactly blowing them off the field. That just cadence of that was horrific. The team on the other side, not exactly showing that they're like on a totally different level or something, and that would be Tennessee, who we will now skip to the next week. Thank God, because I cannot look at another second of Tennessee versus Kentucky at Kroger Field, to the Oklahoma game, which we will talk about briefly, and then we will get to the big topic at hand today, which is that the take that I've had for years and now for months on YouTube, well documented, and I will say well ahead of literally every single person that I know in the Tennessee fan base. I haven't seen a single person in the Tennessee fan base, including people in my family or friends or, people that aren't in the Tennessee fan base or football fans, call out the issues with Josh Heupel. And, as they say, I wasn't wrong, I was early. And the conversation is certainly starting now. But before we can get there, we got to get to this. And also, let's just take this in and take this part of the video in. As usual, we'll try to at least make ourselves feel better a little bit. I love Tennessee football. Night games at Tennessee are just something else, as Kirk Herbstreit will tell us in a second, as well. But yeah, it just doesn't get a whole lot better than this. And this is so cool right here. Such a good idea. Cameras, by the way, I want to do a whole video about this. Cameras, I think, are the most underrated invention in human history. Like, I'm not kidding. I mean that 100% literally. But one downstream benefit of cameras is the fact that you can see what it looks like to stand in the tee running out to dark mode in Neyland Stadium. That is, seriously, that is what's not beautiful is Joey Aguilar. Boy, how they love you one week and hate you the next, eh? That's incredible. One of these days, I am going to post the Kentucky game where it was literally this for the first time a couple years ago, 2022. Oh, there it is. Do I have sound on this bitch? Like, come on, damn. That's crazy. That looks like lanterns or like torches or something moving down the field. That was nuts. Damn, I could have just watched this fucking video and it's got all the fucking angles. Ooh. Dude, especially, you got to remember, this is like Halloween weekend, a couple days after Halloween. Look at that. That looks like, it looks like the field's on fire. That's nasty. Nasty, nasty. Okay, now let's do this. The fun part. Tennessee has been eliminated from college football playoff contention. I don't even know if this is like true. You would think that I can run this page as much as I put this stuff on here. Tennessee's been eliminated from college football playoff contention. Oklahoma goes into Neyland at night and wins 33-27. The game really wasn't that close. For a second game this year, we essentially were completely defeated, and the game was essentially over after just a couple plays, which is why I'm not going to get too much into the details of the game itself. Once you have a 72-yard scoop and score sack that goes against you, the game's pretty much over, especially under the circumstances that it happened. It's similar to the Alabama game. Yes, there's still an entire half. Yes, crazier things have happened than coming back from a double-digit deficit. The point being is, for all intents and purposes, those two games were over whenever those two plays happened, and you're trying to come back the rest of the game to make up for that. You also end up losing by 6 points, and you had a kicker who missed 2 kicks. I don't know what that is, but that looks like a 7th grader. What do we have here? Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, my God. I wasn't going to bring this up, but we also had multiple instances this weekend of teams just being on the 1 yard line and not scoring, and that's the softest shit that I've ever heard. I will die on that hill 100 times out of 100. Buddy fell down here, and then they ended up running a fucking QB zone right up the middle and scoring anyway, which is the point. That's my exact point. Georgia could have done it. They busted a lot of parlays. By not doing it, they actually purposely didn't score like 3 times. And it's just soft as fuck. It just is. You just send a message in that situation to your team. Who cares about the other team? Stop us. There's a minute and a half left on the clock. We're on the fucking 5 yard line. Yeah, we're gonna punch it in. And people say, well, you could risk losing the game. Dog, it's 26-24. If you score a touchdown here, you go up 33-24. So that's a 9-point game. It's a 2-score game. It's a minute and 47 seconds left on the clock. If you're that insecure about your team's ability to hold on to a 2-score lead with less than 2 minutes left in the game when they have 2 timeouts and you've been dominating the game. And like in Georgia's case, like I don't remember the exact score, but the point being is if you're that insecure about your team's ability to handle whatever happens after you score a touchdown to take an even bigger lead than you had before towards the end of a game, it says a whole lot about you as a coach, I would think. And yes, I'm talking about literally Kirby Smart right here. With the Georgia thing, but I just don't get it. I just don't get it at all. Oklahoma ran it in because they could. They ran their damn quarterback in. Here we go with this freezing shit again, dude. I do not understand what's going on. If anybody understands why my screen recorder keeps freezing watching videos on Instagram, please let me know. Passing yards, you got Joey Aguilar, 29 of 45 for 393, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks. The 2 picks I really don't mind too much. He was throwing it up, and one of them in particular was basically a punt. But John Mateer, 19 of 29 for 159 yards. Oh my God. The amount of times that I've watched a white quarterback run all over Tennessee is insane. And it is absolutely maddening that, you watch this guy run QB zone to the left, QB zone to the right, handoff, screen for 4 quarters, and you just don't do shit about it. You don't, have your corners in press. I don't care if you're thin. I don't care if you have injuries. I don't care if you don't think that your guys are as talented as their receivers. At some point, they're just lining up and running the quarterback every single play, which gives them a numbers advantage, especially when you just don't respect it. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. And it's like, I know it's great for content, but like, it's also, I don't even know how to explain some of this shit, like in any context at all. And that brings me, what do you think? That's right. So what was really, really interesting after this game is, I don't know what it was about this one. I don't know if it was because it was a home game. The dark mode stuff was pretty hyped up. If it was the fact that it was kind of like an elimination game, I really don't know. But for whatever reason, it seems like the narrative from somewhere. Again, I really haven't even seen anybody say this. Actually, I literally haven't seen anybody say this. But I've seen a lot of posts talking about how people are saying it. It being that we may have a problem at head coach. Some rumblings in Rocky Top. Now listen, again, in a lot of ways that matter, I love Josh Heupel. I will repeat once again my overall point and my overall take on this. We will, and I believe already have, hit a hard ceiling with Josh Heupel, and you've already seen it. I don't believe that any recruiting class that's coming in is going to fix that, because those kids can leave. We have a great recruiting class coming in, and you could say, well, when he gets that guy, okay, well, he's had a lot of guys. Including Nico, and you could say, well, Nico didn't turn out to be what he was supposed to be. Well, he recruited him, didn't he? He developed him, didn't he? Nico sat, didn't he? Okay. In fact, that brings me nicely to this that I wanted to talk about, which has not even been mentioned anywhere, and it may seem like I'm picking at straws here, but I actually think it's incredibly relevant. Squirrel White. Florida State wide receiver Squirrel White had a very disappointing season in Tallahassee. The former Tennessee pass catcher entered the portal this offseason following Duvall's trip to college football playoffs and committed to the Seminoles. He's caught 5 passes for 52 yards this year. Brother, did he play all year? Like, I'm not even joking. That can't be. Well, I'm absolutely. Meanwhile, during his Tennessee career, he had 131 catches for 1,665 yards and 6 touchdowns. What the hell? That's insane. But not even my point. I'm just, wow. Well, at least he got paid. Yeah, that's going to be basically the story of, probably 75% of these type of stories. But let me ask you a question real quick about that. Why is it that a guy would transfer when he's been at a school for years? He plays wide receiver for a team that throws the ball vertically and targets him quite a bit, and supposedly plays for this offensive guru. And, coming into this season, to his knowledge, Nico was still here as well. Played in this offense for multiple years, played for Heupel for multiple years. And people will say, oh, well, that's the NIL era, et cetera, et cetera. He's at Tennessee. He went to Florida State. Great. You're telling me that Tennessee boosters wouldn't have paid for Squirrel White, who is a fan favorite, like that post just said, to stay at Tennessee if it was just about the money? I think so. Mike Matthews, who almost transferred in the offseason, was rumored to have wanted to transfer because he didn't feel like this offense prepared him for the NFL, which it doesn't, which is why I've always said that Jalen Hyatt wouldn't be good in the NFL because he runs one route, and that's a straight line, which he's really good at, and I love Jalen Hyatt. But even that Alabama game where he has 4 touchdowns, which basically made his legend and was incredible, obviously, made his legend and got him drafted where he was, and probably has kept him in the league to some degree, just because you go, wow, look at that potential. The man ran a straight line out of a double stack or a triple stack formation, or a triangle stack formation, or some creative stuff that Josh Heupel cooked up, and he ran straight. And Squirrel White basically played that role after that. It was like our Tyreek Hill was used in a lot of different ways, playing in an SEC school. Fans love him. Lots of money to be had here as well. Great quarterback, you would think, coming in. Again, he had no knowledge of Nico leaving at that time. There's got to be a reason that he left. There's got to be a reason. Maybe it's something personal that I'm not aware of. I just think it's pretty odd, and I do think it's relevant. So all that to say that the conversation has definitely and fully started, and somehow has caused an absolute firestorm on the other end, where I'm going to show you a couple videos here, if I can get it to record. I'm going to show you a couple videos here of some people that are not very happy that what we know to be the truth here on Hybrid Studios, here in the Coliseum, is coming up finally. Starting with Chris Phillips here. Tennessee deserves all the bad things coming their way if they're stupid enough to run Josh Heupel out of town. Let me just address that really quickly, too. I haven't actually watched the other 2 videos, but the thing that also keeps coming up is who you're going to hire. Who's going to be better than him? Blah, 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 blah. Ask Georgia about Kirby Smart and Mark Richt. That was my original point. The video was literally titled, "Is Josh Heupel Mark Richt?" By the end of the video, I said essentially yes. Again, hard ceiling. Georgia went for it. Is Tennessee not of the same ilk? Are they, not in the same realm of imagination for expectations? And listen, regardless of whether you think that's the case or not, if you're not a Tennessee fan, I promise you Tennessee fans think that it is. And I know that, having grown up in the fan base. And so I know that Tennessee fans won't put up for it for very long. And as one of those people, I know why. And it will be because of this. And that's basically what I've been saying the entire time. Unless you're a program like, let's say, Kentucky, who gave Stoops a lifetime fucking coaching deal, right? Because they suck. Those programs don't win. They're not successful. They never have been. It's not even a priority to those schools. Kentucky's a basketball school. Vanderbilt's they got more important shit going on, obviously. And in all seriousness, even in sports, they're baseball. So when they get that guy, they usually lock him down, and probably rightfully so. You consistently take Vanderbilt to 7, 8, 9 wins, and every once in a while you have a outlier season that's even better than that. Those programs aren't and shouldn't have that level of expectation. So really the question is, if you're Tennessee as a program, if you're a Tennessee fan, the question you got to ask yourself is, what are we in search of? What is our goal? Truly, do we want to compete for national championships every single year? If the answer to that is yes, which again, I'm walking the outside audience through the fact that I know for a fact that it is a yes, the end is pretty clear as far as how this goes. And when that becomes the case, again, it sounds like harsh, like sharp, even coming out of my mouth, believing it to the degree that I do. But once that becomes the case, I do think that you have to go ahead and start looking at what options you have. I don't know if that means directly firing him. I don't know if that means going to him and saying, Josh, we love what you've done for us. We appreciate you getting us from where we were as a proud traditional blue blood program. We were absolutely in the dumps for like 15, 20 years, and you absolutely pulled us out of that. We appreciate your service, and we wish you good luck on bigger and better ventures. Hopefully it's something that makes sense for him too. Again, and it's weird, but Mike Vrabel and what would ultimately be Josh Heupel, first 2 coaches that I've ever experienced in my life for Tennessee or for the Titans, they kind of make me sad if they get fired or if they're not with us anymore, and kind of makes me like, Vrabel I never had any issue with. But again, I've said it many, many times, I don't wish this to be the case. I really hope that I'm wrong. I hope that they break through and he signs a 10-year deal. For the record, that's what I hope happens. But as I said earlier, soliloquy over as far as what my take is and my position. I think it's been in very much detail presented here. Let's see what the counter is, and let's also see if it's any different than what I predicted it to be. which is who are you going to hire? Tennessee fans are ungrateful and crazy. That'll be another thing that they'll say probably. And what was the other thing that I said? That our expectations are too high, which is basically the crazy comment. So yeah, let's see what we got here. Steve Sarkisian, 5 years at Texas, took over a 7-3 team with deep NIL pockets, 45-19 overall record, top 5 coach. Josh Heupel, 5 years at Tennessee, took over a 3-7 team with scholarship limitations, 43-18 overall record, not good enough. Yeah, I don't. That's not the point. Again, like I just said, they're aneurysm. Just please, no. Just stay away. Just for one more day, at least, until I get through these next couple videos. It's not remotely the same thing. Because 43-18, look at the wins and look at the losses. The losses are against teams he should not have lost to, and the wins are against teams he should have beaten. Literally off the top of my head, Alabama. I'm not even like doing a bid here. I cannot think of another really big win that he has. I mean, that Hendon Hooker year, there was a lot of. I was at the Florida game whenever they beat Anthony Richardson, for example. That Florida team was hyped up, but they ended up not being good. I swear to God, off the top of my head, that Alabama game is the only one that I could even think of out of those 43 wins. But I could tell you several of those 18 losses that they shouldn't have had, including, basically every loss that they've had this year, including Florida a few years ago whenever they went on the road, including the South Carolina game that we've talked ad nauseum about. And finally, who says that he's a top 5 coach? I've never heard that in my life. People talk about Sarkisian being an offensive genius, but I've never in my life heard that he's a top 5 college football coach. Ever. So let's just move on from that nonsense. Finally, here we go. I wonder if that's doing that because I have these pages pulled up and there's videos rolling on these pages. I bet that's what it. So let's try this. Also, before this starts, this guy right here, I'm not joking. Whatever, I'm just gonna say, Buddy looks like he has like peanut butter in his mouth when he talks. Like, it doesn't even really sound like it too bad, but like, I don't know, there's something weird about the way his mouth moves. It freaks me out, but that is neither here nor there.
Some things last night talking about, are we sure Josh Heupel is the right guy? Give me Josh Heupel's been one of the best coaches in college football over the course of the last 3 seasons. Is Josh Heupel the right guy? 1,000,000% Josh Heupel's the right guy, first of all. Second of all, a lot of people are going to go to that 4th down call where they throw it to the freshman.
What is that? What is up with the way that his mouth moves? What the
And tight end. Why are we throwing it to the freshman tight end? He was open. Blame Josh Heupel?
Okay, to be fair, I will say that the kid dropped the pass. That's not Josh Heupel's fault. But he also dropped the pass out of a heavy set on 4th down with the game on the line. Sound familiar? Alabama? Why the fuck are we running heavy set? Because we don't fucking run that offense whatsoever at all. Josh Heupel vomits all over himself and runs a completely different offense every time that he doesn't know what to do and calls random timeouts and then doesn't call timeouts and then comes out in a heavy set and then runs a boot and then it's a complete disaster for a pick 6. And then in this game did the exact same thing. And did the kid drop it? Yes, he did. But is that your big ace in the hole?
Because the kid just had a moment where, it was a little bit of a big spot. Ball hit him in the face mask. The timing was off. It wasn't a Josh Heupel issue. Like, it was a matter of competitive plays and your quarterback making some poor mistake.
The timing was off. Not a Josh Heupel issue. It's his responsibility, and it's absolutely a Josh Heupel issue at the end of the day. I mean, yes, at this point, I'm going to nitpick on this by saying that he's the head coach, so ultimately, it is absolutely a Josh Heupel issue. And again, I go back to what I just said. Why the fuck are you calling that play?
And that was how the game went. I'm not dunking on Josh Heupel. I'm not dunking on Tennessee because you lost the game to one of the best defenses in college football and a scrappy, desperate Oklahoma team that found a way in your spot to go get it done. Now, you wish you were the scrappy, desperate team that found a way, but that's college football, dude.
Yeah, I gave Buddy way more credit than I should have on that one. I'm not sure that he made a single solid point, although the way that he talks is hilarious. I cannot think of whose mouth moves like that. I want to say, for some reason, Donald Trump Jr. or Eric Trump or something, but I don't think that that's right. He does look like him, but he's all like the Wayne one. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. But it is unconcerning. This one's gonna hurt my feelings. What you got to say, Kurt?
It's as good of a scene to me as there is in the country when they're rolling. And I think I heard some nonsense from Tennessee fans about Josh Heupel's got to go.
Kirk, chill, bro. Chill. You're my boy. In fact, you look just like my father. For real. But I will roast you.
Everybody's good. Whoever loses has got to go. Man, bullshit. Have you thought about where Tennessee's football program was?
Hey, you're not allowed to say that, Kirk Herbstreit.
Before Josh Heupel got there? Off the field issues.
They act like Tennessee was like Josh Heupel is the first coach to ever succeed at Tennessee is what irritates me about this take. Like, do you know where Tennessee was before that? Again, two things can be true. He absolutely is the guy who pulled us out of the place that we were at. He absolutely is not the only successful coach at Tennessee. He absolutely is not the only one that could do a good job in that position. It's absolutely possible that he's not even remotely the best guy. It's definitely a reasonable thing to ask or to say. So this idea that Josh Heupel is Jesus Christ at Tennessee football is just, it's bullshit, Kirk, is what it is.
Drama, BS, all going. This is a good football team that lost maybe the two best corners on one team. You should be just like, lock Josh Heupel and his staff down for 100 years. You can't win every game. You guys are heading in a great direction. Be grateful. It's going to come. You can't win them all. And when you lose one, it doesn't mean you need to fire your coach. You know, that I'm just tired of hearing a team, all these fans, when they lose a game, we got to fire our coach. That's not the answer. So anyway, let's, Joey, we got.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's just not the point that anybody's making. You lost one game. Yeah, you're right. We've never been successful. We've never had a head coach that was worthy of, like, I don't know, like naming a stadium after. Never won a national championship, never won an SEC championship, never been competitive. Never. You're right. Josh Heupel's the first one to ever do any of those things. In fact, we're being so unreasonable that this past weekend was the first time we've ever lost a game, apparently. And you know, considering that, I hadn't really thought about that. Considering that he's that stat earlier that we read must have been wrong. 48-13. He must be 50-1 after last weekend. And you know what? From that perspective, Kirk, you're right. After 51 games, one loss doesn't seem like enough to call for his job. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. That's not what anybody's saying. Like I said in the other episode about this, one of the other episodes about this, if you can't spot a pattern and a trend right in front of your face, I don't know what to fucking tell you. You're telling me that there's not a pattern and a trend of disappointing losses, of sluggish, shall we say, second and third quarters, but after the initial script wears off, of completely not coming off the bus to inferior opponents and sometimes just getting blown off the field, of vomiting all over yourself in key moments in key games. I mean, this stuff, just watch it. This is not like whatever. So wrapping up like we always do here at the end in a segment that I think I'm going to go with Championship Rounds as the name of. So sometimes Championship Rounds will be, just funny videos or posts or stories that really have no connection to anything else we talked about. Sometimes they will connect to other things we talked about in that episode, and sometimes they will be updates of things we've talked about previously. But the point being is a little bit more rapid fire, always at the end of the episode, like we've done every time, just trying to get a little bit of branding to it. But for today's Championship Rounds, we're going to start with an update of a previous story. LSU is saying they never terminated Bryan Kelly. In a legal filing Monday, Bryan Kelly's attorneys say LSU has taken a position that it has not formally terminated Kelly as the Tigers football coach, is now seeking to fire him for cause and potentially avoid paying his full $54 million buyout. Man, wouldn't that be a shame if that happened to such a good guy as Bryan Kelly? They told Kelly Scott Woodward never had the authority to fire Bryan, so he wasn't actually fired. In a legal fire, saying it was never terminated. Kelly seeking a declaratory judgment that LSU did fire him and he's entitled to full liquidated damages. Imagine, okay, you're telling me we don't have a fucking broken system? Again, whatever profession is, NFL, college, if it's like this in fucking women's college basketball, it's broken too. You're telling me that a man having to go to court to make sure you know for a fact that he was 100% formally, officially, for sure, definitely fired, so he can get what he is entitled to, his full liquidated damages of $54 million. You're telling me there's nothing fucking wrong with that system? You're telling me there's nothing wrong with that system where LSU has to pretend, oh, wait a second, well, technically the person we sent to give you that message was the janitor, and he can't really do that. But on the second thought, I think we have a case to take that money from you. It's in your buyout. I mean, honestly, hard to do, but you almost found me on Bryan Kelly's side on this one. If it weren't for, the the whole thing with the permanently handicapped former captain and dead player and dead kid and etc. that he was, in my opinion, very much responsible for. In my opinion. Please, Bryan, please don't seek a declaratory judgment on me. But LSU in general is just going through it. Garrett Nussmeier and DJ Lagway have both been benched. I'm not even fucking joking you. I thought that the picture, I don't know what I thought, really. I saw Nussmeier had been benched. I didn't even know Lagway got benched. What did we talk about earlier at the beginning of the episode? Garrett Nussmeier and DJ Lagway are two specific players, in particular DJ Lagway. I did an entire thing about DJ Lagway, how he was compared to Tim Tebow and all this shit. They've been benched. They've been benched. You're talking about coaches, like a lot of them at huge programs, getting their jobs taken, lost their jobs, fired, middle of the season. And you're talking about guys who were Heisman Trophy contenders. Buddy was on the cover of a Legends edition of College Football 26 with Tim Tebow. And they've both been benched after being mentioned for being overrated on the Coliseum. I gotta be careful. You know what I mean? I'm changing lives out here for fans of these programs in a good way, but guys, it's just YouTube. I don't know what to tell you. Just calling what I see. Both got benched. My God, 11 of 19. If you remember, Lagway was the one who had like negative yards or something in the entire game, something crazy like that. Yeah, rough. I'll tell you one person who never fails to have a good time, even if it is in the middle of an absolute catastrophically disastrous season, is LSU fans. And Theo Vaughn will tell you all about it in a way that, of course, I just never could. So let's listen to this.
You have to clean it up when you're around the Vandy people as opposed to no rules at LSU. Oh, LSU's got something else, dude. LSU, the AD, he'll pull up his shirt and show you a big Boosie tattoo on his side. Like, LSU is something else. You'll be talking to somebody, a couple shrimp balls. You know what I'm saying? The referee, he'll have a little side pocket or some remoulade or something, a little beautiful or something dress, and he'll be out there pulling straight out of one pocket, dipping him in a condiment in the other pocket, and putting him in his mouth. I saw a dude a referee accidentally blew into a shrimp. He thought it was his whistle. So he got confused.
What is your favorite food down in that region? That's one of my favorite food towns down there.
Oh, it's a great place to get gout. It's a great place to get a stent put in down there.
Oh yeah.
I like a fried shrimp po' boy, man. That's what I really love. My dad used to eat those. I sit there and watch him eat them. He would tell me all this BS about the world and eating them fried shrimp po' boys.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's a great place to get gout as an all-time line from my boy Jacob Hester, legendary running back at LSU. What's your favorite food down there? Oh, it's a great place to get gout. Great place to get a stent put in. Motherfucker's insane, man. The penultimate story of today, which is second to last for my brainiacs out there, Compton College JUCO football features a 45-year-old former Compton mayoral candidate who is playing wide receiver Lamar Willis. His son, Young Thug, and 50-year-old defensive... Wait, what? There's two of them? It features 50-year-old Compton mayoral candidate wide receiver Lamar Willis, his son Josiah Willis, and another separate 50-year-old. What? They forfeited their last two games to end the season at 0-10 with a scoring margin of 480-12. Yeah, I'd say so. I would think it's pretty safe to say their priorities aren't winning games, if I just had to guess. What the hell could we possibly have here? Buddy who delivered your Amazon packages earlier just about to blitz right up the fucking middle and try to make a play on a 22-year-old fucking scholarship athlete. Oh yeah? Hell yeah, bro. You were there. Kinda. You touched him a little bit. You were like the fourth guy there. Didn't contribute at all and then fell, but you were there. I don't know why I'm roasting, dude. That's kind of dope, but it's also like, I don't know. I think this pushes the boundary a little bit. Maybe that's Orson Villalobos. I'm a 50-year-old football player, student athlete. Oh my God, my man Orson and my man Lamar Willis, who also fucking ran for mayor of Compton. So shout out to them, more power to them in all seriousness. But this is wild. That was an absolute jump scare. Buddy looks just a tad over 50 if I had to guess. I mean, you don't have to lie, dog. You're already like doing the thing. Just tell them the truth, bro. We all know you're 78. So that brings me to this, which was the follow-up lore dump that I saw after that. Well, I saw the post. I have no idea what this is going to say. And based on what we've covered so far in the last 2 minutes about this school, I can't say that it's going to be normal, if I had to guess.
Football team of all time, but the story behind it is even crazier. Because JUCO football is just a league of its own, metaphorically and literally. So I'd like to introduce everyone to Compton College, a JUCO football program, obviously in Compton, California. Now, before I get to why they're so bad, let's just talk about some of the players on this team. And by the way, if you want more lesser-known sports stories, make sure you're following, because I do this every day. First up, we have freshman Josiah Willis, who is a Compton native and plays defensive back. Then after that, we have Lamar Willis, who's also a Compton native. And that's because
It kind of looks like Daniel Cormier a little bit.
he's Josiah's 45-year-old dad. This team has the football version of Bronny.
Even fucking remotely close. People hate on Bronny and Lamar, and that is kind of a corny situation. But for the record, they're in the fucking NBA. So let's just chill out.
And by the way, Lamar is a candidate to be the mayor of Compton. That's what he's
Currently a candidate. Buddy is fucking laying hits and passing out colors to people on the ground.
And those two are followed up by Orson.
What are you doing? Think about, I don't know, like your health, or the people that are going to have to witness your bones and skin tear apart when a fucking 22-year-old on steroids blast through your chest.
Villalobos, a 50-year-old student athlete playing defensive back, linebacker, and special teams. And you know, a lot of people might hate on these guys.
Dog. Real quick, I'm sorry, I will not interrupt again. You realize, like, JUCO, like, it's a stepping stone for a lot of legit athletes. Cam Newton played JUCO, for example, just off the top of my head. Could you imagine fucking Orson Villalobos, 50-year-old former accountant that's going back to school to get a marketing degree, fucking in a fucking T-step? First of all, buddy's Achilles. My God, cannot believe it hasn't blown up. Just absolutely a miracle. But can you imagine him T-stepping and looking up and Cam Newton's running a read option and has decided to keep that thing and end his life? Like, my God, 6'5", 260-pound Cam Newton and runs a 4.4 just coming downhill at you. In that moment, you realize, what the fuck am I doing? I'm 50.
I think this is incredible. This is a moment of bonding that not many sons and fathers get to do. And these guys are going to talk about it for the rest of their lives. Whereas my man Orson here, how many 50-year-olds do you know that just sit on their ass all day? Good for you, Orson. And get your education. That's what I like to see. However, this team sucks. They're so bad. These guys couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. They couldn't catch a cold if they were in Antarctica. Of the 10 games they've played in the season, they have lost every single one. Now, teams going 0-10 happens. Not that big of a deal. But the scoring margin of Compton College, they'd scored 12 points total in all 10 of those games, scoring 6 points in 2 separate games. Whereas their opponents have put up 480 points and that been 10 games. Again, Greg.
The joys of saving these posts for you guys and then literally not watching 1 second of them until I get here. But with that being said, another really, really long episode. All that being said, we are going to wrap it up here, guys. It is approaching an hour. If you are still with me, I appreciate it more than you possibly know. Also, if you're still with me at this point, I would once again say to you, statistically, you're probably not subscribed. And my man or my woman, if you're watching this and you've listened to me yap for an hour, watch my other videos because you probably like those too. And also, you probably like the new ones that I post. So please subscribe and engage with Hybrid Studios in any way that you guys possibly could, including sharing this with somebody that may enjoy it. As always, I'm going to leave you with one final video. And other than that, thank you for coming in to this week's college football episode of the Coliseum. Turn your post notifications on as we continue to expand the quality and quantity of what I post here on Hybrid Studios. You are going to want to do that to stay up to date on all the new things that we on the journey. So yeah, thank you as always, and we will see you guys next time.
There are kids who grow up dirt poor and they got like that caged animal syndrome their whole life. There are kids who grew up rich, and it doesn't matter how many mistakes they make because they'll always be set for life. There is like an ocean of tweeners out there. I was one of them. I was lower middle class, but like I was not worrying about where my next meal was going to come from as a kid. But I also wasn't set for life as a kid. And so you get out of high school and you don't know what you want to do. And then you're 20, then you're 22, then you're 24. You still really haven't made anything of yourself. You know you've got potential, you know you got talent, we all do, but you're just like floating. You're just pissing away time. You're pissing away years of your life. And so like I didn't really even start having that click till I'm like 30 years old. And I realized if I make something of myself, imagine how this plays to an audience of 22-year-olds. Because I know forever there will be tweeners in life who are sitting out there and they just want something to light a fire under. Well, what better than someone who can say, yeah, I was right there where you were. Like if you're broke, you got no other option than to work, or you're going to die. Like you're not going anywhere. If you're rich, whatever. But if you're a tweener, and that's like a huge population of the United States of America's youth at any given point, that no one's really feeling sorry for you, but no one's handing you a whole lot either. I told myself even at the time, that's who I want to speak to one day. If I ever make it, that's who I want to speak to.